Welcome back to Yupp Master, and you are also watching us on YouTube live of Yupp Master. Yupp Master is the platform where you are getting the best of the academics, because all the people over here are those which are known for producing the best of the ranks in all India exams. The top 100, the top 10 ranks were produced in the recent past, and in the many past years every one person and each and every faculty member is that much experienced that they can let you to chase your dream, they can let you to achieve the dream. If you are dreaming of a medical college, if you are thinking of getting the MBBS seat, you need to have a good plan. And the most important thing after the plan is execution. Now for execution you need to be regular, and to be regular you need certain motivation. With the commitment of the faculty team at Yupp Master, you can obviously get that plan get well executed. So this is how we are obviously teaching at Yupp Master, just to make you the better, the efficient and the more accurate student to achieve your target, whether it's the NEET exam, means getting the MBBS seat, or any other entrance exams including agriculture, or if you want to get more marks in your board exams as well. So my dear students, those who haven't joined us on the Yupp Master app and still watching us on the YouTube live, it is for them that they must subscribe the channel first, then press the bell icon so that they will get the notification of the new videos and the updated timetable, and also requesting them to download the Yupp Master app so that they can have the daily practice paper for the topic that is taught in the same day. And by this way they can have the nice practice of the questions. The 20 questions are much enough for a single day, or you can say for a class of about 1 hour. Okay, so keep on practicing, keep on studying, be regular in your studies, and this is what Yupp Master wishes you. A healthy life at your home, stay safe. We are studying the morphology of flowering plants and botany. So in the previous classes we have discussed the vegetative parts, root, the next was stem, and thereafter we started the leaf. When we have these three parts as the vegetative structure, after that we have to study about the reproductive parts. For those who have joined us just now, let me know you one thing, that our previous lectures are also available on YouTube, as well as they are available on the Yupp Master app. Better I will recommend the Yupp Master app, because for those chapters or those topics which you have left or which are unheard to you, in that cases you can watch them on the application on the Yupp Master. The application is free, you can download it, you can have the practice paper of that particular session also. Yesterday you people have given your weekly practice paper, that paper which was having 180 questions, and it was almost as a real-time experience to appear in that exam. So the students, that further what we need to discuss about the chapter is morphology of flowering plants. We were studying leaf, and in the previous classes I told you the parts of leaf. Then we have studied about Phyllotaxy, we studied the types of leaf, in the simple and the compound. We have studied the modifications or the changes that we are observing in the structures or the leaf parts, like leaf lamina getting modified, leaf petiole getting modified, or the other cases like leaf base is getting modified, and other structures, stipules if present, may be modified in such type of examples. Today we had to study about the modification of leaves as entire, means it's about the conclusion of the topic leaf. Thereafter we'll move to the inflorescence topic. But before telling these things, I obviously emphasizing on the daily practice papers so that you can conclude the thing and you can practice the thing in the actual time. Okay, so that you can retain most of it. This is the most important thing that you need to follow, and that is what? The regular timetable, the regular practice sessions. Okay, so let's begin. Let's start with the topic that we have to start now, the modification of leaves. Okay, so in this kind of example that we are studying the leaf, here we have the things that we are going to start with. For the people, those who are following us from the beginning, they have already studied these parts of the leaf, and the parts of the leaf are like this one is the first the leaf lamina, which is also named as epipodium. The second one is called as leaf stalk, or you can call it as mesopodium. Third one is the leaf base, or you call it as hypopodium. And one structure that we have studied is the stipule, which is not a compulsion one for the all leaf types. If the stipule present, we'll call that leaf as stipulate. If the stipules are absent, we'll call the leaf as ex-stipulate. Okay, these are leafy appendages, and what is most important thing is the occurrence of axillary bud. Axillary bud will be there in the axil of a simple leaf, in the axil of the compound leaf, but not in the axil of leaflets. Okay. So this is just the parts only. We have studied the parts which are getting modified, means lamina getting modified. We have studied the structure where stipule getting modified. We have studied the structure where petiole was modified. Hypopodium, or the leaf base, was getting modified into different structures. So that's the different part. Now in the total we are going to correct everything, and this is about modifications of leaf. So in modifications of leaf, remember I told you this thing, that modification means whenever the structure is performing some other work than the usual. What is the usual function of leaf? The usual function of leaf is doing photosynthesis, means accumulating, or you can just say assimilating carbon dioxide while performing photosynthesis. So if it is performing photosynthesis, in that cases the function other than photosynthesis will be considered as a kind of modification. So what a leaf can perform other than photosynthesis? Because previously we have studied the part of stem or the modification of stem which are performing the functions like leaf. Now we are talking about leaf that is performing something else, or the leaf part which is getting modified into some other structure. So let me start with here the modification of leaf that we can study here. It is going to begin with the tendrils. Now tendrils are something which is supposed to be the structure for mechanical support, right? Tendrils are the structure which are supposed for performing mechanical support, means coiling around the nearby body so that the plant can climb or the plant can stay erect, okay, growing towards the sunlight. While growing towards the sunlight, these tendrils are helping the weak stem to get erect structure, right? So we can say the tendril means the thin wiry structure. The tendril is thin wiry structure. So when I am saying that tendril is a thin wiry structure, it is supposed to provide mechanical support. Now interesting thing is about the examples. Why? Because sometimes we are observing that entire leaf is getting modified into tendrils. Let me tell you this example. This is the stem, right? And we are observing the leaf. This is the leaf. Everything was fine with this leaf. But another leaf, because it is nearby to the wall or the other plant or something else, right? That structure got changed. Means at this node we are observing the leaf is getting modified into what? Tendril. Okay. So I am saying this, that this is the node which is expected to bear the leaf, has born into or get converted into what? A tendrilar structure or thin wiry structure. So when entire leaf is getting modified into tendril, okay, that kind of example is seen in Lathyrus. This is not for the first time we are learning this name or we are reading this name Lathyrus. We have already studied about it. Okay. The second type of example, if I am telling, so here it is. The second kind of example is, this is the stem, and this stem is bearing a compound pinnate leaves. I repeat, compound pinnate leaves. Okay. So the compound pinnate leaves means we are saying the leaflets are coming on a common axis. Leaflets are coming on a common axis, fine. These are leaflets, okay. These are leaflets. So these are leaflets if we are talking about. We are saying that the terminal leaflet is getting converted into this thin wiry structure. This is a different example. Example number 2. Where the terminal leaflet get converted into tendril. This example is in Pisum. Okay. See, I am repeatedly mentioning these names. The reason is quite simple. The reason is that the examples can be memorized only if you are going to repeat them. again and again. Okay, that is why the thing. If you have solved the DPPs of the previous topics, means from the root onwards, you will find that so many of the questions are based on example names and many of the questions are getting repeated, means little bit alteration is there. Why for? Because we are knowing this thing from our experience that many students feel it very difficult to memorize these kind of examples. Sometimes they get confused if the number of examples are like 7, 8, 10, 15, something like that. In the previous years in NEET, there was one question from this same chapter, Morphology of Flowering Plants, although not from the root, stem, leaf. It was from flower, and that was having 12 examples, right? So if you are feeling it difficult to memorize the examples, or if you are feeling it difficult to retain these examples, I told you one of the way, and that way is very much simple. I am repeating it. I am repeating in almost every class that you need to make a copy, the same copy that you used to have in your school for writing the class test or something. That copy should be divided into two pages, means you can say alphabetically. So 2 into 26, a copy with around 50 or 52 pages will be sufficient enough. But the thing is, you are going to keep this copy for whole of the 2-year duration, means from the class 11 up to the completion of the class 12th. Now what this copy is going to be, or what we are going to make from this copy, is actually a kind of dictionary, which is of, obviously, if I am going to make a dictionary, I am supposed to have all the type of words and all type of scientific terminology name, the scientists written in that. Okay, I will write the example name as many as time I am going to read it. It's like if I have studied the mustard plant for the first time in the root, I will repeat wherever it is coming. In root chapter, we have mentioned the mustard plant with the taproot system in the photograph that is given, and we are using the same photo in every class of morphology. Then we shifted to the other portion, and here also in the leaf we have studied about mustard plant, that the Phyllotaxy is alternate. So what my suggestion is, if you are going to make such a copy, divide every 2 pages for each alphabet A to Z. Okay, so if you are getting an example Australian acacia for the first time, write it there, Australian acacia dash wherever you have seen it. Or just like you can take the example M, word mustard. Okay, so we are saying mustard, first time I have mentioned taproot system. Then again mustard came in leaf. So I am going to write mustard dash alternate Phyllotaxy. If it is going to be in the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 next times, I am going to repeat the mustard as many as time. So at the last, what you will get? You will get a collection of all the things which are related to mustard and given in your book. Right? This is the way you can retain what kind of things? Scientific terminology, you can retain the name of scientists, you can retain the examples. These 3 things are going to be, means we can say solid. 100% solid you are going to be in such kind of questions. Okay, no one is going to beat you. This is a tried and tested thing if you are going to follow it. This is the best one. Okay, and make it a habit. Means repeatedly you are going to write, every time you are going to see mustard, if I have written for the first time in the root, if it is going to be in some chapter of class 12th, just imagine about this. Just after opening the copy at the mustard page, you will see all the info that you have studied about mustard. What can be better than this? I think there cannot be any other kind of method by which you can retain the examples by this kind of efficiency. This will be best one. Try, adopt this strategy. Definitely you will feel a different, or you can say a different approach of study. Okay, this is what we need to adopt. The proper strategy is needed to get the target, to get the best rank. Many people get selected, but the thing is about the rank. How to get best rank is about strategy. Okay, everyone is reading the same thing. Everyone is learning from same master, but how one student is getting the rank 1 and the other one is getting the rank 80th? The reason is the strategy that they followed. If you are going to follow the correct strategy, definitely you are going to be the best one. You can go for the second thing that is called as concise note, or you can say short notes. I told you how to write the short notes also in the previous classes. Those who have missed that, they can go for obviously the leaf topic, they will get the idea. In the previous classes of leaf, we have discussed how to make the short notes. In coming classes also, I am going to tell you to prepare the short notes and to just follow the other strategies just to retain these examples, just to be the best in retaining the fundamentals. Okay, remember the fundamentals, automatically you are going to learn each and everything in your life. It is going to be useful in your future also. Okay, because learning can be the fun. The thing is how you are going to follow it, how you are doing it. That's the thing. Clear? Make it a fun, make it different from the other people so that you can have a greater advantage. Right? So that's the thing. Here we go for the next topic, right? So I was telling you the examples for the tendrils, means how the leaf parts are getting modified for providing mechanical support as a thin wiry structure that we call as tendril. Previously we have studied that the stem parts are getting modified as tendril, means the bud is getting modified as tendril, something like that. Okay, here we are talking about the leaf is getting modified into tendrils. The other kind of character can be like that the leaf is there and that leaf is getting modified into, the leaf apex is getting modified into a tendril. This is the leaf in Gloriosa, glory lily, whose apex is modified to perform mechanical support. That's it. This is a leaf apex modified as tendril. Example name Gloriosa. The next thing is about that what kind of other structure is there. So I can say the petiole may be modified. So we made this thing in the previous class itself. This is the stem there, and we are saying this is the node. The leaf is coming from this portion, means the node, and while coming from here you can say that this is how the leaf is going to coil around the stem. So tendrilar petiole is seen in clematis. Not only clematis, there is one more example that I have told you as an insectivorous plant, means the insectivorous pitcher plant, that is Nepenthes. This is one of such example, right? So these are the things that we can mention in the terms of tendril. If you wish, you can add one more condition or one more example where tendrils are getting formed, or you can say the tendrils are formed from the stipules. If the stipules are getting modified, that is in Smilex. The stipules getting modified means we are saying this, I am considering the stem is green in Smilex, no problem. This is the node, this is the node, this is the node. Okay, so if I am imagining that this is the leaf, we are saying that these are the places from where the tendril arises. Okay, wait, I'll make it more clear to you so that you can understand it well. Okay, so I am saying this is the place where the stipule is supposed to come, at this place. Okay, not in the axillary bud, this is something else. Stipule is not the axillary bud. I am talking about stipule getting converted into tendril. So it must be coming from these places. And stipule as 2 in number, we can observe these type of things. Right? Stipules are 2. Axillary bud is 1. So if axillary bud is getting modified as tendril, we will observe one only tendril. That is in the stem. We are talking about leaf right now. And the stipules are leafy appendages like this, just nearby the petiole, or you can say, end of the petiole or base of the petiole. Okay, so that structure become tendrilar or tendril-like in Smilex. So these are different examples that we have noticed here. You can put a serial number so that a question regarding match the column can be asked. If diagrams are given and they are asking that which type of modification it is. Okay, so here it is 1, A, this is B, this is C, this is D, and this one is E. Okay, right? So this is how the leaf get modified into tendril, or the parts of leaf get modified into tendrils. Next one, the other characters or other type of modification, that the next modification is called as phylloid. Now what phylloid means? Previously we have studied the words like phyloclade, we have studied the word like cladode. Now what does it mean by saying the word phyll? Phyll is related to the leaf, right? I already told you this thing, but again I am telling you, phyll, P-H-Y-L-L, double L is something related to leaf, a terminology. PHY double L, that this terminology is used regarding leaves. So when we are talking about leaves in this regard, when we have to mention that what phyllodes is. So phyllodes is something which is seen in Australian acacia. In Australian acacia, the leaves are getting tiny in sizes or the smaller in sizes. Why? For Australian acacia is in the xeric or in the desert places where water is less, and leaf is supposed to reduce its surface so that water losses or transpiration type of thing can be minimized. See the previous classes for this, right? Again, I am going to give you in the brief what it is. So see here. So we are saying that this type of stem, this is the stem. Okay, the stem, the node is bearing the structure. We are saying no node is going to bear the structure which we are observing. This is the petiole, but actually the compound pinnate leaves, in compound pinnate leaves, this petiole is getting extended into a common axis that bears leaflets on the two sides. Okay, that bears leaflets on two sides like this. Okay, maybe odd in number or even in number. Okay, right. So here we are talking about that this is the structure that we are observing. This is rachis. The common axis is called rachis. Anyhow, we are right now talking about the structure which is called as phyllodes. Now, where is phyllodes? Now, we are saying this is the leaf stalk. Okay, this leaf stalk means the petiole is getting expanded. This is getting expanded like this. The leaf area is getting supported by expansion of petiole into a flattened structure. By this way, we can say the plant is achieving the usual photosynthesis in that cases. So here phyllodes is getting modified as a leaf-like structure. So don't get confused. Previously, we have studied winged petiole. Okay, we have studied an example of winged petiole in citrus. So see the difference, how the two are different. Don't get confused regarding this. Okay, this is what? This is winged petiole. This is winged petiole in citrus. And if we are talking about this structure, then what it is? This structure is phyllodes. Try to find out the difference between the two. See the thing, it's a compound leaf, it's a simple leaf, now getting converted into compound type of appearance. Okay, now appearing compound type because of this winged-like expanded petiole or winged-like structure in the petiole. Okay, the other thing, nothing much. So that the major difference is about the pinnate type of leaves that we are observing here, it is not there. Okay, so be clear about this, don't get confused. The example is in citrus and this is in Australian acacia. See, one thing is that we can directly put a picture over here and then go for everything, means getting an explanation. The second thing, we are making the diagram, we are making the figure just so that you can learn how to make them. Okay, in the picture it is like sometimes the picture are not that much clear, which is obviously less informative, you can say. But when we are going to draw it, you can easily understand how the structure arises, how it get modified, or from where it is arising. Every type of thing can be mentioned about them. So the phyllodes type of structure here I am saying, the phyllodes is the petiole becoming flat and function as a normal leaf. So example is acacia. Okay, here I told you this thing. So the phyllodes is something else, it is not the winged petiole. So be clear about this. The two things are different. Okay, next. The other type of modification in the leaf is related to the structure which is providing what? Protection against predation. Okay, protection against predation. As I told you previously that thorns, prickles spines are the three things. How many? Three. There are three things that we are discussing. One, thorns. Second, prickles. Third, spines. So when we are comparing these three, then remember they are not the same. We did the differences between these three in stem. At the end of the stem we have compared this. But all these three are same because they are performing, or they are providing the plant a kind of defensive mechanism, or you can say a defensive armature. Okay, that armature means which is protecting the plant from the predation. Okay, so this is how we can say this is the structure which is defensive, or you can say against predation. These are three structures, but all three structures are different. How come? Thorn is a modification of what? Thorn is a modification of stem. You can say bud. Prickle is what? It is not a modification. You can say it is a superficial structure, surface structure. Whereas spines means leaf or part of leaf. Getting my point? Leaf or parts of leaf getting modified. Okay, let me tell you this thing, how it happened. It depends that what example you are studying actually. So one of the example is where we are saying in the arid regions, the stem get reduced, or sorry, leaves are getting reduced, and the function of leaf is performed by green stem, where the leaves are reduced to spines. Okay, this unlimited growing stem is called as phylloclade. This structure, and here all the things that we need to know about. So these are the characters, right? You remember this? Phylloclade we have studied. Try to recall the examples that we have studied in the previous one about phylloclade. I told you in the arid regions where obviously leaves cannot perform well, their stem is taking over the function of performing photosynthesis, right? That stem may be cylindrical, that stem may be flattened. If it is flattened, it is seen in opuntia. If it is cylindrical, it is seen in euphorbia. But right now it is about the leaf that we are talking about here. Now we are observing these pointed structure on the stem. What are these pointed structure? These pointed structure only are spines, or you can say formerly leaves which get reduced as spine structure, pointed structure. Right, this is first of the example. Then second type of example is also possible. What? When the leaf margins are having spines. I said margins. The leaf margin is having certain spines. I will show spine by a different color so that you can differentiate that it is not only the incisions, it is some pointed structure also on the tip here. Here this one, this one, this one. Okay, so that type of character we are observing here. So when we have this type of character, we say tip. Okay, so if I am mentioning that this type of structure, the third type is different. Here it is. The plant is growing in this way, means leaves, these are leaves of that plant. Now these leaves have pointed structure on their tips, or you just can say the apex. Okay, now what these are going to provide? Obviously protection. Many times we used to see this thing, this type of plant in, or you can say around the field, just to make a fence-like structure to avoid entry of ruminant animals into the field. Okay, So these are different examples where spines are either reduced leaf, right, entire leaf getting converted into spine as we see in Opuntia, or you may be observing the margins are having pointed structures as you see in Argemon. Prickly poppy is the common name, and you can see the tip is having some pointed structure like spine, or you can say resembling thorn, but it is actually spine as you see in Yucca. One more type of example we have, and that example is, this is the stem, node, and then coming the leaf. I am mentioning about Ziziphus, right, commonly named as bear, clear, in most of the areas. So here we are saying this structure is bearing, the stipules are modified into spine, not the axillary bud, remember this, okay. Or you can see in the Australian acacia as well, you can see the same structure in Australian acacia, just only the leaf appearance will differ. So what are these structures? These are again spine. Such examples are seen in Ziziphus and Australian acacia. So these are the cases where leaves are getting modified into spine, or the leaf parts are getting modified into spine, okay. These all again I will mention in the same way, A, B, C, D, and here is the labeling that I am saying as, this is first, this is second, this is third, this is fourth, okay. So that's the thing that we can mention over here, easy one, fine. So spine is over. The next type of modification is, the other modification is trap for insects. Now first problematic thing about trap for insect is that why a plant is looking to trap the insect, means what is the reason behind this, why the plant is going to trap the insect. Now as we have studied in the root, remember nodulated root, clear, I am trying to make you recall the nodulated root. The nodulated root gave the shelter to a bacterium named Rhizobium. The Rhizobium performed nitrogen fixation in exchange of what? Shelter. Means plant gave the shelter, bacteria is going to give nitrogen fixation. This is how his pulses or the legume crops are getting the optimum amount of nitrogen that is needed for their development and growth. Fine. So whether it's microbe in the soil or the plants, both are requiring nitrogen. Unfortunately, nitrogen is not the most abundant element in the earth crust. So that's why there is always a challenge for nitrogen availability. If we consider the place of nitrogen deficiency, or you can say the type of soil where nitrogen is available in less amount or in deficient amount, here we can say in nitrogen deficient soils. So first of the character is nitrogen deficient soil. Now in nitrogen deficient soils, what we are having here? So we say in nitrogen deficient soils, the feature that we are observing is, first one, in nitrogen deficient soil I am telling about, the plants are trying to obtain nitrogen in other ways. Okay, we are saying, we are observing what? Insectivorous plants. Oh, the plant is going to have insects, right? Plant is going to have insect for what purpose? If anyone is going to eat insect, it will be insectivorous. Now, how the plant is going to, or you can say how they trap insects is one of the question, and the second is why they are trapping the insects. So they are trapping insects by insectivorous plant, where we say insect as source of nitrogen compounds. And what are those nitrogen compounds in the insect or in organism's body? The nitrogen containing principal compound is protein. Although nitrogen is present in other type of organic molecules also, but primarily nitrogen is seen as one of the important, or you can say the compulsory element in all protein types. Okay, so plants are targeting the insects to fulfill their nitrogen requirement by digesting the proteins. Great. They also have the enzymes like our body, and they digest the protein, only protein. Means plants are not eating carbohydrates from the insects, they are not taking fats from the insects, they are not taking anything from them. Only and only thing that is required is nitrogen rich proteins. That's it, simple. It's simple to understand this thing, that here these insect as a source of nitrogen compounds, prominently proteins. Means such plants which are considered as insectivorous plants have protein digestive enzymes. Yeah, true. They have protein digesting enzymes. Have protein digesting enzymes. So when they have protein digesting enzymes, we have mentioned it very clearly that what does it mean actually? The protein digesting enzymes they have, they are going to digest the protein and going to remove every of other compound. They don't need any type of carbohydrate. These plants don't need any kind of fats or oils from insects, nothing. Only and only proteins that get digested for the nitrogen required for normal growth and development of the plant body. Okay, this is how the plant is getting its required nitrogen. But a bigger challenge is to trap insects. Means why an insect or any type of organism is going to be closer to such type of plants? There may be something which is going to deceive the insect, or you can say attract the insect. So there are such type of modification. We say usually leaves are getting modified to form the trap. Okay, let's take certain examples. One of such example is this structure that earlier we have made as what? Nothing other than picture. Right? This is the structure which I am telling about is picture plant. In picture plant we are observing this is the structure which I am saying as lid of the pitcher. Now the pitcher is getting mechanical support because of this tendril petiole. Okay, so here I'll say what features are there. This is the lid, this is the pitcher, and this is the tendril. Now all are the parts of leaf. All are the parts of leaf. This is apex of leaf. I will say leaf apex. The second is this one, leaf lamina, forming the pitcher. The third is petiole, forming the tendril. The motive is to tell this thing that how this structure is going to trap the insect. So it seems attractive. Obviously insects are going to visit this structure, and whenever they are entering into it, this lid will get closed. The insect is getting trapped. This is how the leaf is modified to trap insects. For what? Nitrogen compounds, to get protein, because they have protein digesting enzymes only. The protein digesting enzymes will be here, released, digest the proteins in the insect and absorbing it. So that type of thing we are observing in the insectivorous plant. It is not only one, another is there, aquatic. The aquatic plant which is called as bladderwort is having the structure which we can say the colorless type of structure it is. This is the straight one. The leaf is getting modified into a structure which appear more as a hollow body. You can say it's a bladder type of thing. See, having a small opening. Now what will happen? The thing is water will enter from this place, means the opening. Water, yeah, obviously this is an aquatic plant. I am saying the water is going to enter from this place, okay, and the water will come out. The thing is when water is entering and water is coming out, it is acting as a filter. Okay, it is acting as filter, and we are saying if any particle is also trying to enter, those particles get trapped inside, whereas water is moving out. That particle got trapped. That is along with the flow of water, entered the bladder and then trapped. This is how they are getting the required type of compounds. So these are what? These are bladders. If in the above one we have mentioned pitcher, here it is bladder. So even the names are such. Names are given in according to the same way. The pitcher, nephenthus. The second one, bladder, means utricularia. So in insectivorous plants, we used to mention that leaves are modified to trap the insects. Fine. So leaves are modified to trap the insects. This is it. Leaves are getting modified. They're simple. Here is the example. Okay. That's so much easy we can understand these things. Fine. So the next type of example, see. In doubt, one student said that sometimes we need to click or we need to have the screenshot what you are telling on the screen, because it is not always available for us, or you can say that it is not always possible to get the same place or same thing in the videos, or else we need to watch the whole of the video for the same shot. Okay, you can have a screenshot of this. Clear? It will be better. I think it is going to be more clear if you are taking the screenshots, right? By the time I am going to tell you that those who are watching us on the YouTube live, they must get the app downloaded so that they can have the daily practice paper they can do at the comfort of their home and can assess that how better they are performing. The DPPs of the other subjects are also available, and you can go for all the subjects. You can watch the previous videos as well. Okay, the app is also having the material that can be downloaded, and you can have the elaborate, or you can say the detailed study of that particular topic that is in sync of the NEET syllabus. Okay, and those who are already having the Yupp Master app, it is better our advice for them that they must take the tests regularly. They must appear for the practice papers regularly. Okay, because you need to be much better than the other students. Okay, so the YouTube live subscribers or YouTube live watching people, please like and subscribe the channel, press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of our upcoming classes for the other subjects as well. Okay, we are the one who is providing all 6 days classes, 3 days for each of the subject, so that we can study in depth in the proper way with the proper understanding without skipping the actual fundamentals of the subject. Okay, it is not about doing the losses to any kind of studies if it is available at online platform as well. Okay, so download the Yupp Master app. You can have the practice exams also. So here it is. The next thing after the trap of insects, we can talk about next thing after this trap for insects. The thing is how the leaf get modified for another kind of mechanical support. Now it is different from tendril. Remember, tendrils are getting longer, they grows well, but hooks are not that kind of structure. Okay, why? We can say that hooks are something which are comparatively smaller in size and much more stiff. Yeah, the role is the same, means providing mechanical support. So the example includes argemone. Another example is Bignonia. Now the Bignonia in common language or in the common name is called as cat's nail. So the name tells everything. Clear? Name tells us about everything here in the Bignonia. What it is actually, they are saying in Bignonia, the leaf tip is modified as a pointed curved structure. Just like claw of cat, right? So that's why it is called as cat's nail. Okay, that's why it is the structure which is called as cat's nail. So it's a simple one, it's not at all a big deal. So this type of thing is going to provide mechanical support. curved leaf apex to provide mechanical support. Easy one, simpler one. Okay, fine. This is about the hooks. Other things, what other things we can mention? The other type of examples of the leaf are coming, and that example is related to what? The function, which is totally different. The leaves are becoming fleshy. What does it mean by saying fleshy leaves? So if you have observed certain type of plants in your home as well, today, nowadays, in we can say in our garden, or you can say even in the potted plants also, we have a very common one that is called as aloe vera. Clear? If you haven't seen the plant, you must have seen or you must have heard the name aloe vera. Now aloe vera is having succulent leaves. Now how it is different, or what we are talking about? Now succulent leaves, fleshy leaves are most of the cases similar. Okay, most of the cases they are similar, and what they are going to do then? See this. Succulent leaves. Now when I say succulent leaves, means they are thick leathery type. They are thick. You can say it is thick, fleshy. Now where these are seen? We can see these type of examples in the places which are called as drought evaders. In xerophytic plants, particularly, means not all xerophytes, particularly drought evaders. It is particularly the drought evaders which are having these kind of leaves. Now what does it mean by saying drought evaders? Actually Australian acacia also we have studied as xerophytic plants. We have studied many other plants like opuntia, euphorbia, those are considered as xerophytic. Now what's the difference and what this term drought evader means? One thing is like if the plant is having that much short lifespan that before arrival of the drought season, or you can say before arrival of the dry and the hot season, the plant is going to complete its lifespan, drought escapers. The second is not at all worried about drought condition. Let it come. We are going to sustain it because either we are storing the water, or it may be like we are not losing water to the surroundings. Simple. Okay, those plants are succulent plants, and they can survive in such conditions of drought, or you can say dryness in the environment as well as in the soil, because of their capability, or you can say because of their fleshy or succulent leaves. I repeat, okay, the plants that are not getting affected by external as well as internal dryness, such kind of plants are true xerophytes, or you can call them as drought evaders. Okay, these drought evaders are accumulating certain things in their cells, or you can say in their leaves, by which they can have more amount of water retained in their body. Just take one such example. It's like during summer season, you may see some person who is continuously perspiring, means too much of the sweat is coming. That person got fainted on the ground, lying on the ground, not having any consciousness. Then when that person is taken to the hospital, what the doctors are going to do? Those doctors are going to obviously pierce the vein and putting some needles along with the drip, means glucose. Plus the person is advised to take some electrolytes. Electrolytes means, just one common example is electrol powder, or you can have Glucon-D, and you can have lemon water or lemon juice along with salt, black salt, or you can have the table salt as well. Why for? What the salt is doing, what glucose is doing, clear? What the electrolytes in the electrol powders, that type of thing, what are they doing in our body? Actually, if my body is having the amount of solute, my body is capable to retain water. I repeat, if my body is having solute in higher amount, I will try to retain more amount of water in the body. This is the criteria by which the succulent plant leaves are also going to manage the dryness of the surrounding as well as the inside. Okay, they have the compounds which are osmotically active. We'll learn this word in coming classes. Osmotically active, or you can say the compound which are obviously recharging the plant cells with water, or either you can say avoiding the plant cell to lose water to the surroundings. This is how the plant is managing to survive in drought, not drought like, even in drought conditions also. So this is about drought evaders. And what type of leaves are they? These are succulent leaves. Remember, these are succulent leaves. You can say fleshy leaves. What they are doing, I just told you this one, that they have, the drought evaders have solutes like what? Organic acids. Now see this, why I am mentioning the things separately. Succulent leaves from the fleshy leaves. You can call them as fleshy leaves, no problem. It's fine to call these as fleshy leaves, but be careful by explaining the term, okay? There is a thin line difference. In general language, you can say the leaves are fleshy because they have something pulpy matter inside, okay? So, aloe vera, I said, okay? So, I have solutes like organic acids to retain water, okay? That kind of condition they are showing. Examples like aloe vera type of thing, aloe. Even Bryophyllum is the same kind. Many other type of plants are also there, okay, where the leaf is becoming fleshy as stem or thicker as stem, that kind of character. Fine. So this is about the succulent leaves. Now what about fleshy leaves then, and how they are different, what they can do? Now the fleshy leaf, most common example that you can see are onion and garlic, that are known to store starch, sugar. Means they are also having something which is able to retain water. Comparatively, you can say that these type of examples, if we are talking about garlic and onion, they are storing the food. True? Yeah. Fleshy leaves, thick, as these store food. In example, onion, garlic. What is the edible part in onion, garlic? Obviously, it is leaves. What we are eating in onion and garlic, obviously it is about leaves which are having stored food. So definitely to store food, the leaves are going to be fleshy, or you can say thick. Now see the difference in the two very clearly. Here also the reserve food can be there. Here also the reserve food can be there. Okay, but can this type of structure, means onion, can sustain the drought conditions in a desert? Answer is no. Right? To grow the plant like onion, we need a place which is properly irrigated, means it requires water for irrigation. And we are talking for the plants like aloe, or you can say other examples like Bryophyllum. For growing such type of plants in the pot, in the garden or in the nature, they need not to have much amount of water for them. See the difference, right? Okay, no doubt about this. You can say the leaves of aloe are fleshy, true. Okay, but when I am saying drought evaders, that is a technical word, or you can say the word is having its own type of definition. You cannot apply this word to those. Okay, so I have kept separate. You can say here also leaves are modified. This is another kind of leaf modification. Okay, I haven't mentioned it on a separate slide because I think it is not at all needed. You need to know about these things, that what are drought evaders. Now no one is going to tell you drought evaders separately. The reason is quite simple. It is not given anywhere in the book. But as a student of biology, we need to know this thing. As a student of ecology, or you can say when we are going to learn about environment, that why the plant distribution, different type of habitats differ. This is some kind of reasons are there. So this is how we can explain how the plant distribution is getting different from one place to the other place. That's the reason. Kind of soil, kind of available water, and all those type of characters. Fine. So next, the other type of example next to the fleshy leaves. Okay, what will be next after fleshy leaves will be the type of leaves which are considered to be reproductive. Oh, nice. Previously in asparagus and dahlia, what we have studied, reproductive roots. I repeat. Clear? I must mention this here. In asparagus, I told you, in a kind of exotic vegetable, and the other one is dahlia, the ornamental, the flower plant. The flower is very much nice, looking big one, brightly colored. So it's usually grown as ornamental. Okay, and another example is sweet potato. About these we have studied that these propagate by their roots, although in all three adventitious roots are there. But the thing is about propagation. Who is doing propagation, vegetative propagation in these plant? Answer is root. Clear? Root as propagule. Fine. The structure root as propagule. Fine. Okay. Root as propagule. We need to know this. Why? Because later these things are not going to be our part or not going to be the part of the syllabus. So it is better to join all the things here itself. Okay. So root as propagule here I have mentioned. The second type of example, if I am able to recall the things from the stem chapter or in the stem topic that we have studied, that all the subaerial modifications are propagating vegetatively. Okay, as well as all the kind of underground stems were also doing vegetative propagation. Okay, two places, subaerial as well as aerial. Let me tell this. Here we are saying that one such example for vegetative propagation or the propagule is about the example what I am saying here, oxalis, or better take the general name from our surrounding will be the best one. Okay, instead of oxalis I am saying here the example that is like strawberry. Any other type of plant? Obviously it's jasmine. Not only jasmine, other example is again a kind of flowering plant, that is chrysanthemum, ornamental plant. Okay, or you can have the plant like what, Eichhornia. Okay, these type of examples. These all have such structures which are propagating, means their subaerial stem is acting as a propagule. I am not going to stop here because I have some other thing as well. Here the stem as propagule. Which type of stem? Subaerial. Okay. The third thing is about the underground stem. Whether it's about potato, it's about ginger, it is about saffron also, because it is forming corm. Okay, so here these all are underground stem and can propagate vegetatively. Now the most important thing, if you can recall or you can tell what is similarity among these three. If you can recall these things or how they are able to propagate vegetatively. The same thing is going to be applicable for these leaves as well. What? See, the asparagus is having buds on it. No doubt, true. Strawberry, jasmine, chrysanthemum, eichhornia, subaerial stem is obviously having bud. these underground stem being stem also possessing buds. So it is obvious. So performing vegetative propagation requires, one is the occurrence of bud. First requirement, or you can say there are two prerequisites for vegetative propagation in nature. One, that structure must possess bud. As we are observing, the roots are having bud. Those buds are called radical buds. The second, subaerial or the underground stem, being stem, they have buds on them. The second criteria is bearing adventitious roots. Now many other stem are also there which creep on the ground, but they do not bear roots at their nodes. So they are not that much successful in getting expanded to the other habitats like these examples. Okay. So bearing adventitious root is also one of the criteria. Now first one is being the root, so no problem. The next two are obviously bearing the adventitious roots. That's it. Means the two things, if getting fulfilled, the structure can propagate vegetatively. Right? The structure can propagate vegetatively. The same thing is about the reproductive leaves. If they have the structure, means what? Bud, and the second, ability to bear adventitious roots. Definitely those leaves can perform vegetative propagation. After reading this much, these many examples, we learned that the two prerequisites for vegetative propagation are, one, occurrence of buds, and the second is ability to arise adventitious roots. One, occurrence of buds, and the second one, as I am telling you, what? The second is ability to bear adventitious roots. Out of the whole information, right? This is having radical buds, no doubt. The buds on root are called radical buds. Please refer the stem. You will get it there. Okay. Strawberry. If strawberry is considered, it is having what? Obviously being stem. Buds are usual. One speciality that they acquired is bearing adventitious roots. Not all subaerial stems are doing this. These only do this. That's why we are calling subaerial modified stem, modified for doing propagation. And this one again being stem, buds are usual. Yeah. So quite simple. So we have learned this condition, that why they are able to perform vegetative propagation. The other condition about the reproductive leaves will be of the same kind. Means how we can mention this? The condition is, this is the leaf of Bryophyllum plant. This is the leaf of Bryophyllum plant. Okay, this is prominent midrib. And when this leaf is falling down on the ground or getting damaged by any of the reason, in that cases we are saying this structure when get damaged, we are observing it is bearing these kind of things. So you can identify that these are the structure which are roots, adventitious roots, roots coming at the leaf, because the leaf is having other part, means the bud. Now here are the tiny leaves that are coming, the tiny leaves that are coming, tiny leaves that are coming. So the buds are present at margins. The plant is called Bryophyllum. Sprout, leaf, plant is the common name of Bryophyllum. The name is understood. Why? Okay. So we are saying the reproductive leaves bear adventitious buds. Buds are usual on stem. If buds arise on any other part than stem, they are called adventitious. So bear adventitious buds. Such kind of reproductive leaves are having adventitious bud, and those buds are called as foliar buds, which are on margins. Okay, I can say on margins, bud on margins. where we can have such examples. What are those examples? One example is Bryophyllum, other example is Kalanchoe. One example is Bryophyllum, other example is Kalanchoe. Not only this, even in other plants also, like one example is called, that is called as walking fern. Now this is interesting. What walking fern means? Fern is belonging to Pterophyta, means the lower group, the cryptogams, non-seeded plant but vascular. So we are saying they got adapted for the terrestrial habitat, and in them we are observing that this is the leaf, this is having bud at the tip. Now because of the weight, it is getting bent on the ground. When it touches the ground, the bud is going to sprout and giving rise to the new leaf. This is how it is going to propagate from here to your side. Okay, this is what we used to observe about edientum, right? Edientum, I can say leaf tip, buds, name walking fern, although it is not a flowering plant. Just for the sake, some interesting fact why it is called walking fern. Okay, so that is the thing that we are telling here about the reproductive leaves. These are the modification of leaves that we have studied so far. You need to know about these names very clearly, okay, and be clear about these things, that what are they or what they can do, okay, why they are getting modified. So some of the similar type of similar sounding words are there which are making us confused, and they are what? They are these three: phylloclade, cladode and phylode. Cladode is also named as, or cladode is also called, one more name of cladode is there, and that is called as cladophyll. That is called as cladophyll. It's the same. Remember the example. In the earlier chapter, means the stem itself, we have mentioned these two things, right? In arid regions, the stem is getting fleshy, photosynthetic. Instead of the leaves to perform photosynthesis, stem is performing photosynthesis, indefinitely growing, fleshy, cylindrical in euphorbia, flattened in opuntia. The limited growth phylloclade is called as cladode. Example is Asparagus ruscus. Whereas the petiole is becoming photosynthetic, flattened in Australian acacia. So be clear about these things. Okay, so here we are going to conclude the topic that is called as leaf, the morphology of flowering plant, and the next thing that we are going to start with the coming classes is about the inflorescence. The word is new for you because before this you must have heard about the word called flower. We are going to study inflorescence. Now how the inflorescences differ from flower, this will be our discussion in the next class. Okay, those who are watching us on the YouTube live, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon to get the notifications of the upcoming classes and the upcoming schedule, upcoming discussions, motivational lectures, and the guidance how to perform well in your exams. And download the Yupp Master app so that you can perform the daily practice paper of the topic that is discussed in today's class, as well as you can have the daily practice paper of the previous topic as well. 20 questions of each class are much enough to skill yourself. Clear? At least 20 questions that you are getting, you can skill yourself on those 20 variety questions so that you can get the better score in your exams, whether it's NEET or the school performance. Okay, so stay with us, continue with us to watch the more live classes on the Yupp Master. Stayed with us on the YouTube live. We are going to be in touch very soon in the next class. Thank you. All the best.